GoonerFam, what's good? We're back with a special edition, rival reviews. I got my homeboy here, Tony. Tony is a South African fan, but is now all the way in England, a huge Manchester United fan, and he's going to join us in on a season review of the Red Devils. Welcome, Tony, all the way from well, I don't know where in England you are exactly, but welcome all the way from England. Thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, Keisha. No, thanks so much. Thanks for having me. Really enjoy what you're doing with GoonerCast, and yeah, watch it weekly. Enjoy the work.
Oh, yeah, thanks, bro. That's much appreciated. I like it. Well, just to give everyone context, me and Tony actually go way back. We were in school together, so it's actually quite surprising. He's an avid Manchester United supporter, and now he moved across to England. He's a season ticket holder. He's going to the game. So, Tony, maybe just tell us what made you such a big Red Devil, and what do you love about your club? And as a South African, and as your homeboy, asking you, what's it like, man? Living here, watching the game beside me on television at a bar, now watching it in a seat with every one of those guys are your homies now, of course, Manchester United family. Yeah, just let us know what it's like. We'd all love to hear.
Yeah, no, man. It's incredible. I mean, obviously, growing up watching United, supporting United. My grandfather was a big United fan, so it kind of just flowed from that. Of course, growing up, United were the main team, so it was also a bit easy to watch, winning all the time, lifting trophies and that. But you know the passion I have for the game, love the game, never miss a game growing up, and moved to the UK about four and a half years ago, and since then I've been a season ticket holder. I was on the waiting list for quite a while, as you know. I think I was on for like 15, 16 years. I'd put my name down, and when I moved here, I think the year before they offered me the ticket, so it was like perfect timing and everything. So just going to the games, and that's it's incredible. It's like, yeah, I mean, I wish everyone could experience it. It's like you walk in that stadium, you just get goosebumps. It's just overwhelming, and no matter how often you go, you just love that feeling, man. You just love that feeling, the roar of the crowd, watching the boys live, warming up, playing the game afterwards, thanking the fans. It's just like. But not only that, it's the match day experience that makes it, So obviously over the last few years, United has not been that enjoyable to watch, as you know. But it's a match day experience. It's going to the bars before the game with all your fellow fans, singing songs, chanting for your team, just all together, just there to support, and then all walking across from the pub, walking across, singing songs in the streets, down the stadium, watching the stadium in the distance, getting closer. It's remarkable. It's just an unbelievable feeling, So something, like I said, I wish everybody can experience it.
Wow, you actually giving me goosebumps thinking about it. I think maybe we, as fans here, we have the same passion, of course, and we love our teams, But I think we don't see that, We don't really understand that part of it, like the outside part, like going to the game, build up, and all of that. We just focus on the game. So it's really, really insightful, man. And I never knew that. Actually, you told me a while back, but it's really crazy to know. And now you can understand why those guys are so passionate, because you build it up for like hours before. And then you
Yeah.
into the stadium and you race, and obviously
Yeah.
love for the team. And I think the football love really is great there. And obviously it's great because it's spread all the way here, and we're chatting about two rival teams, and just having a normal conversations like we're kids again. It's just
Yeah.
in the same position now. Before we were
Yeah. No, man, no, it's too, and you totally right. I mean, there's no one back home that's less of a fan than anyone over here. South Africans are passionate, as if not as passionate as they are over here about football. Obviously here they've got the luxury of being able to go to the games, but it doesn't take away from like people's football knowledge are back home, or people's passion for football back home, So that's one thing, definitely.
from a guy that was here like me, sitting and watching games on the TV. He knows what he's saying. But let's get into the good stuff, man. Let's go to your guys' season review. It's been I would say it's been a weird season for you guys. I would say it was a bit shaky in the beginning. Well, firstly, Ole's first season is his whole season in charge, eh?
First full season. Yeah, first full season.
So yeah, going into first full season, you guys are finished third. How you felt about him? How you felt about the team's performance rather over the season, considering COVID and all of that. What did you make it? What did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, beginning of the season, bit shaky. I think in the first half of the season, I mean, we did really well against all the big teams, but it was the smaller teams where we just couldn't break them down. I mean, I sat through. We were losing to like Aston Villa and like Bournemouth and like struggling to beat Norwich and all the smaller teams, but then doing well against the bigger teams. So I think and I think it comes down to like someone like Bruno Fernandes. We should have had him in before the season started, 100%. We needed that playmaker who can break down the smaller teams, who can give that killer pass, and obviously the first half of the season we didn't have that, and it showed. It showed how we struggled. But obviously since he's come in, I mean we've flown. We went from like fifth, sixth place in the log to getting third place, and I think we had one of the higher point ratios from when he came in. So it just shows the difference that one player had made to the team. But it also shows how important it is to get your transfer business done early. Had we had him at the beginning of the season, not to say we would have challenged City or Liverpool, but we would have had a much comfortable third place. We wouldn't have been down to the last day of the season trying to beat Leicester to secure third place. We would have had it done a few weeks ago. So
what you were saying before Bruno Fernandes, as you said, you weren't picking up the points of those small games, and then after he comes in after COVID, you had those small teams, but you were knocking them down quite easy and quite comfortably. I think, yeah, that's a great progression, and it shows, as you said, from you were fifth or sixth, dabbling around there, and then a few good positive results, a run of 5 games without losing, and then you're back up to third. Yeah, I suppose it could have went a bit earlier if you brought him in, but I suppose you're just happy the dude's in now, what I mean? So
yeah.
has he really, do you feel like he was what you guys needed to get to third? That's exactly what you needed, like the boost in your side, or was it just the type of play that he brings to the team?
Yeah, I think his play obviously is made a big difference. I think, of course, Ole having longer with the team's been gelling. The team are looking a lot more fitter than they've looked in the 7 years since Fergie left. It's about time we have a United side who looks fit and are fighting for the ball. We've looked a bit lackluster over the years. So I think him coming in has given a positive, like a big positive to the team, but it's also not to take away from Ole and what he's done. He's getting the best out of players. I mean, Marshall is performing at the best he's ever performed for us. Someone like Pogba looks to be coming and settling in and hopefully finding his feet, and we obviously hope that can carry on. So yeah, it's a combination of I think Ole's got the right mentality, but also he's bringing in the right people. So
Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about the season for you guys. Yeah, you finished third, but you guys were in the Europa, and then unfortunately got knocked out. I think it was the quarters or quarters. Was it the quarters?
semis to Seville. Yeah.
So, like, what went wrong there, man? What was like, what do you think you could have done better? Look, we're not gonna like really get too caught up in the game, but it was a chance for silverware. So just to show, like,
100%.
what was your kind of reaction on where you guys didn't seal the game where you guys should have?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, we should have got to the final. I think with Seville, we were the better team on the day. I mean, anyone who watched the game will agree. We had a lot more shots. Their keeper got man of the match. I mean, he made some phenomenal saves. But again, it was just down to a bit of poor finishing from the boys. Rashford didn't look the sharpest. Greenwood had a couple of decent chances. Marshall had a couple of decent chances. At the end of the day, if you're not putting your chances away, it's going to cost you. I mean, Seville, I think, had 3 shots on target the whole game, scored 2, and 1 was direct at the Gea. So it's a game of taking chances. I mean, and then it's simply, I mean, besides not taking chances, the only other thing I can fault is that we didn't make subs. We didn't make subs early enough, and I think it comes down to Ole not having that faith in our bench players. It's difficult when you've got such strong players on the pitch like Bruno, Rashford, Marshall, and then your bench players, no disrespect, but it's like Lingard, Pereira. It's guys who are not going to come on and change a game as much.
And the flow of the game.
Yeah. So I think that's what it was. Is just Ole just didn't have faith in the bench, and hopefully we're going to sort it out in the next month or so before the window closes.
Yeah, no, let's hope, man. It looks like, look, I feel to me, if you have to look at it, Ole's first full season, he ends up in two semis. You know what I mean? He finishes third. You know, that's actually quite, maybe you'll need it to iron out a few, like as you said, be a bit more clinical, just finish off the cup games. Maybe that's a bit what you'll need to work on. But still, first full season, he gets into two semis, he gets you guys third Champions League, you're back there. Sure you're stoked about
Yeah,
that. So
yeah, yeah,
are
yeah,
you happy
definitely.
with your I'm sure you like first of all, you've seen this dude play as well. Like Ole, you've seen him play at United. So how are you feeling now personally? 1.5 seasons done. I feel he achieved personally as a fan. I think he did quite a decent job. You're finishing behind Pep and Klopp, so you know what I mean.
Yeah,
And being two semis with a young team that you didn't really strengthen as much, and you're still finding your feet in Premier League. Just to give it a bit of context there. So from my yeah, but how are you as a fan? Because you saw this dude on the touch line there, running around, screaming his orders, obviously selecting the team, and obviously first half of the season you weren't happy, and then it's like Arsenal first half for us we weren't happy, and then second half it was a big improvement, and I think that's kind of the tail of your season. You know, like it looked you all had a really good strong performance towards the back end. So is that do you think that he's going to lead the way? Do you think you've found a manager now? How are you feeling as a
yeah, yeah. No, definitely. I mean, first full season in charge. We actually were in three semi-finals. Uh, the Carabao, no, but just to show how strong it was. I mean, Carabao Cup semi, FA Cup semi, and Europa semi. We made the semis of all the trophies we were in, and third in the league. I mean, that's a pretty good season. Um, Obviously, hugely disappointed not to get any silverware at the end of it. But that's the way football goes. But it's showing its steps in the right way. Three semis, third place. It is a solid season. It's not terrible, but we expect more being United. We don't want to be comfortable with third place or only making it to a semi. You need to be challenging for the titles, and you need to be taking silverware. So I do think Ole is probably the right man for it. He's got the club mentality. He knows how the club operates. I mean, his signings that he's brought in have all contributed. They've all been good, positive signings. So I think he just needs a bit of time. He's got to where he can tweak is just his substitutions. I think it's the only thing that it's quite a common conversation amongst United fans at the bars before the games is just get the subs right. Like he's either too late to do them or he's changing the wrong player. And I mean, that's going to come with experience. He's still young, but that's the only thing we'd like to see him really doing better is just getting those substitutions right and timing it. You look at Nuno's from Wolves. I mean, his subs are always bang on. Whenever he brings a player on, within 10 minutes they're making a goal for the club. It's just like those sort of those fine tuning
you
things
don't
is,
have
is, is,
the
is what
depth,
makes a difference.
the depth to achieve that, like in terms of the type of quality of subs, or maybe what they need to achieve when they come on. So you need to do a bit more strengthening, or what do you feel he needs to address that issue, or is it
Yeah.
just his experience?
I think some of it's experience. I mean, obviously, again, I go back to someone like Lingard or Pereira. They maybe not as the standard of our starting 11. Of course not. Most teams don't have that sort of depth. I think it's only City who's really got their bench that can equal their starting 11. But someone like Lingard, who scored a few goals in the games leading up to Seville, he scored in the last two games before that. Give him a chance. Let him just bring him on. Rashford was not doing well. He wasn't scoring. He was just couldn't do anything. Just not his day. Swap him out and just see what you can do. Of course, we need to strengthen. All teams need to strengthen. We can see the business that someone like Chelsea has done this season already. Um, so we need to strengthen, but you've also got to have faith in your guys on the bench. You've got to have faith. Yeah, just change it up.
Definitely. I think, as you said, I think it will come with time with him. And I think
Yeah,
maybe he found his place, and you guys, as fans, have found the guy that you wanted. But while it has been some rough times at United, it's always not nice to see being a rival fan, you know what I mean? Because you guys were pretty much the most stable club, and apart from Arsenal with managers and stuff, and then a lot
yeah,
going on. So I'm pleased to see that you'll have a bit more faith brought him back, and he's giving you guys, I mean, the fans and everybody, that kind of faith that you needed, that we can achieve something. And it's sad not to get a trophy, but I think the performances are warranted. You guys next season are definitely going to do some stuff. But like, back to the season. What was your biggest positive you would take out from the season and negative, if you had any?
So biggest positive I would definitely say is obviously we finished quite strong. I think before lockdown we were 11 points off Chelsea and we landed up pipping them to third place. So I think that's a massive positive. I think we came back with 9 games left or something like that, and we made it up. We got there. We got our wins under the bag. So like I think it's a huge positive the way we finished quite strongly. Marshall was scoring quite freely. We didn't pick up any serious injuries. So I think that's like a huge positive to end the season off. As a negative, I think the biggest negative for me in the season was just not getting Bruno when we were supposed to before the season started. I think that was like, again, it was the talk of the town here. It's just, come on, man, we need him. We can see his quality. We can see it's where we need a player. We just need that creative role. I mean, up until he came, we were playing like Lingard at number 10. It's just not good enough, man. And I think everybody could see that, and that's definitely cost us quite a few points and gave us a lot of headaches and a lot of poor performances. But yeah, at least it's been resolved now. So
Yeah, no, it's that's good, and I suppose it's these issues that he'll resolve as the season goes in. Let's go into a little fun section here. I got a quick fire questions. I want to know who you think the player would be for you as a Manchester United, not anyone in the league, just for Man United. So I'm gonna ask you like player of the season, and you're gonna tell me who it is. Okay?
okay.
So yeah, all right. So who was your starting off? Who was your player of the season for Man United?
Player of the season, I think Wan-Bissaka.
Okay.
Um, yes, Bruno was phenomenal, but he was only there for half a season. So Wan-Bissaka was consistent. Young, I think he's only like 21 years old. He's coming from Crystal Palace. Huge pressure coming to a club like United, and he's just taking it in his stride. I mean, stats-wise, he had the most highest percentage of tackles, most interceptions. He just did a job, and he needs to work on his crossing when he gets forward. He's not like Trent or that, but defensively, I think he was just solid. He cut out a lot of the main guys. I think it's why we were successful against the top 6 teams. Players like Sterling had a tough time with him. Players like Mane had a tough time with him. So he really for me just stood out, and he was just so consistent throughout.
Great. And your most improved player over the season?
Most improved, I would say, is probably Fred.
Okay.
I mean, he was nowhere. He's been shocking since we got him. And this season, when Pogba went injured and Fred stepped up, he stepped up. He stepped up and he performed, and he carried us through those times when we had Rashford injured and Pogba injured, and we never had Bruno. Fred was the one who just carried us. So
Him and McTominay, yeah, was the pairing.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, it was McTominay for most of it. Yeah,
Yeah, that was actually a good pairing to be fair. McTominay is quite a talented player, strong, a
yeah,
little bit rash at times, but I like that about him.
yeah, yeah.
um,
He's very passionate.
yeah, no, and it's needed in that role.
Yeah,
It's a good
definitely.
role to fill. And the player that surprised you this season.
Player that surprised me. Um, Funny enough, I want to say Martial. Marshall surprised me, man. I mean, he's
Oh,
he's he's yeah, he's just stepped up and he's smiling again. He's happy. He's enjoying his football. He's our top scorer. And I mean he doesn't take penalties or free kicks, and he still was our top scorer. So I mean he's just scoring for fun and scoring quality goals, like little dink goals and beautiful curler shots. And yeah, he surprised me, man. Pleasantly surprised.
is that what you think you wanted to see when you bought him? That the capability he had. Maybe it took a bit of while to get there, but is this what you guys all saw in him prior? You think?
Yeah, well, I must be honest. Before we got him, I didn't really know much about him. I didn't know much about him when he came into the team, but watching him, you always saw glimpses of it. You always saw, oh, gee,
Mm-hmm.
that's a great finish, or that's a great chip, or you always see those moments of quality, but he just couldn't string it together. And I think for the first time, and that's why I say definitely for me the biggest surprise package is he just for the first time he was just stringing them performance after performance after performance, just solid and consistent. And even if he's not scoring a goal, he's doing something. He's doing something that opens up a gap, and yeah, just really Really
Yeah,
enjoyed
I
him, man.
think he filled in, as you said, with Rashford not scoring and also not being injured. He filled in that gap as a goal scorer and probably
Yeah,
doubled
definitely.
the tally from last season, if I'm not mistaken. Uh,
Comfortably. Yeah, yeah.
so your signing of the season, which I already know, but let us know, was Wan-Bissaka signed at the beginning of the season?
Yes. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Two
So,
surprises there.
yeah, it's close because we've needed a right back for a long time, you know. After Gary Neville left, we tinkered with like Rafael, and then Valencia was a winger, but we played him in the right back purely because we didn't have anybody. And now it seems like we finally got that position down. So Wan-Bissaka has been phenomenal. I mean, so consistent. But a signing of the seasons for is definitely Bruno. I mean,
he just
he's
gave you all the boost that you needed.
yeah, yeah. And I say he's always looking to go forward. Every time he gets the ball, he's looking for that forward pass. He runs hard for the team. He's passionate about the win. And I just think it's those players that are so rare to find. You know, it's like a Kevin De Bruyne for Man City. I'm not saying he's on the level of him, but he's sort of that same similar sort of player.
Like a general in the midfield. You know, you're always controlling, always moving, always talking. It's more than quality sometimes. It's about the way you organize, you know. And also I
Yeah,
think the attributes you brought to your team were what you were lacking, maybe a bit of creativity, maybe
yeah,
bringing the ball
definitely.
up deep and releasing. But the one thing I want to ask, like, since you're touching on the signing of did you expect him to make such a big impact? That I forgot to ask you that.
No, I don't think so. No, I mean,
But it's a
we
big
we it's massive. It's massive. I mean, we expected him to do well, but not straight away. Not like this. I mean, no player, I can't remember a player, maybe you can tell me, but I can't remember a player coming into the Premier League and having such an impact so straight away. Like literally, he's come into the Premier League and for the last
It also came in
three,
January,
4 months.
even harder. You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean?
exactly. It's
Like the thing.
exactly. You're coming in right in the middle of winter. I mean, in January we're getting snow and stuff. So he's coming in such a hard time of the season. Players already in their routines, and to make such an impact, I think for the last 6 months of the season, he's probably the best player in the league. He's up there, along with Kevin De Bruyne. I think he's got to be one of the better ones. And yeah, maybe
Obama.
that's a touch and go, but he's no, but he's been phenomenal. I mean, any team would be glad to have a player like that in their team, and to come and do it with such an impact. We just hope he can do it consistently. You know, that's the main thing now.
I think for me, it's just to see that, you know, as a fan or as just a football watching person, to see that impact that he made. That's remarkable. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like United were doing okay, and then it's just for me, it just shows what a right signing or timing or making a key decision can do to a club. Because you could have been sixth and now you're third, or could have been seventh and now
100%.
you're third. So it's
Yeah,
it's stuff like that I feel like it's a whole dilemma with Klopp. Like people can hate him, people can, but the way he built and what he did, you can't take it away from him. You know what I mean? And how he
yeah,
did things. And I think sometimes you have to look at these decisions these managers make and be like, wow, that was a good one. And you can credit to Ole or whoever your
yeah,
team was on that. That's what you needed
yeah,
and you got it. It might not have been Bruno, it could have been somebody else, but yeah. So
yeah.
back
I think
to
no, sorry, I was just gonna say, I think the big thing about Bruno as well is that nobody else was after him.
uh,
So it's not like we were getting challenged from Barcelona or Liverpool or Bayern Munich. It was like, so it was weird for a lot of people. A lot of people were 50-50 because they were like, well, nobody else is after him. Is he that good? Is he that person we need? So there was a lot of like, people against the transfer of him. But again, it just makes his impact that much more impressive. So yeah.
no, that's great. Especially now that you say that nobody was after him. So it's like an unsung hero or a diamond in the rough there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like nobody knew and Ole brought it out, you know, credit to him and big
Yeah.
up to you guys. At least it gave you guys that kind of inspiration towards the end of the season that you needed. You guys were a bit maybe might have been a bit bitter or angry with Ole before, and now you're like, hey, you know what? Maybe he did the right thing, which is nice. It's always nice to finish a season on a positive because going into the next season being like, you know what, we should have done better, this and that. When you go into this season, at least you're comfortable, you're okay, you know where your gaps are, and you know what you
Yeah.
need to do, and it's really promising. But on to carry on with the player stuff. The next question is who you think didn't perform to your expectation as a player? So who didn't come to the party, man?
I think maybe it's a bit harsh on me, but I think Harry Maguire. Um, you know, we did all right defensively. I think we had the top 5 most clean sheet, top 5 teams in Europe with the most amount of clean sheets. So we were okay defensively, but I just think the price tag that he came in with, the previous seasons he's had with Leicester, we just expected more from him. He's come across, he's been a good leader, but I just think there's been mistakes in him. There's been lack of communication between him and whoever the other centre back is, and maybe it's not his fault, but you need that centre back who's demanding. I mean, look at Liverpool got in Van Dijk, and straight away he just cleaned up the league. He just sorted out their back line, and they were the best team in Europe. Simple. Not to say we expected that from Maguire, but we expected a lot more solidness in the back, and it just didn't come. For me, he's been a decent signing, but he's just been disappointing of what I expected from him. So
I suppose the price tag, man, it puts a lot of
it's a
pressure
price
on,
tag.
you know. And
100%, but because you've paid that price tag, you want to get value for it, and I just don't feel like we got value for it, unfortunately.
all right, there were a few mistakes in him this season, and I think maybe costly ones. That's why you'll raise it more.
Costly,
Because like,
yeah,
the guys were still able to get over the line, and you'd be like, no, this guy must watch out here. But if he's costing points or losing games at crucial moments, then it becomes a serious issue because you can't always get to a certain point and then these mistakes. It's the same with Louise. We don't mind if you
yeah,
make a mistake. It's not those costly ones, not those where you're losing a game, where you're getting knocked
yeah,
out of the cup. And I think that's the big difference. You know, make those mistakes up the pitch or don't make them at all. You know, so yeah, it's sad to say.
100%.
I think he's a decent player.
Definitely, he is a good player. He is talented. I mean, he did have a pretty decent season, but again, for that sort of 80 million most expensive defender, you're expecting more. That's all. Yeah,
No, yeah. I suppose we'll have to see. It was also his first season at United, as well.
yeah.
Okay. Next season, more. I think Ole has a plan now. We'll see. But I know who this answer is going to be, but I'm sure everyone would like to know what your answer is. But the best young player under 21.
Oh, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. um, no, it's definitely Mason Greenwood. I mean, oh man, unbelievable talent, unbelievable. Like I get goosebumps just thinking of that kid. You must see when he comes out at Old Trafford, how the fans just react to him. They just love the guy. Like he's born and bred. Born and bred. He loves the club. I mean, he grew up supporting the club. He grew up going to games, watching the club, and it's like he's just doing it. And I mean, his finishing is just deadly, deadly, deadly. He's like, man, it's like he kind of reminds me of like Robin van Persie's finishing. You know, it's so similar. There's so much similarities, and I just think the kid's got such a future. 18 years old. Oh man, he's a talent.
The fact that he just hits the ball doesn't matter. He just wants to hit that thing. Wherever it is,
Yeah,
he'll take a shot. And I think that's what a lot of strikers lack in this league. They just don't want to take the shots off.
yeah,
And he's
yeah,
shot. He can hit 1, 2 people and go in. It doesn't matter. He's gonna take that shot off.
yeah,
And his whoop, you know, where that space between where he got a very short whoop. Like he can cock
yeah,
that quite quick and release the ball. So I was really impressed. I think the first 4 games or 5 games into Corona, after Corona, I mean, he scored goals. I think 3 or 4 goals in that time.
yeah.
2 of those goals were just quick reaction. He just got the ball and he hit it. And I was
Mm,
like, we call that caught unaware. You know, like you catch everyone
mm,
unaware with that. And for me, that's like mature thinking. That's not a kid. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, how old is
yeah.
he? 19.
He's 18 years old. He only turned 18 this year. I mean, he's fearless. He's fearless, and I think the big thing about him that's going to be on his side forever is he's strong on both feet. I mean,
Okay.
if you notice the goals he's scoring, he's scoring with left and his right. It's yeah, he's just wow, he's just such a talent. I just hope we carry on to ease him in. Like I'm all for him starting games here and there, but I don't think at 18 he should be like a regular starter. I think he's got to get eased into the team and just nurtured and have somebody to look up to and somebody to work off.
Yeah.
I think that could just make him that just give him that step up. But the
The biggest
guy's finishing.
player that he'll work off, who do you think can groom him to the role?
I think obviously being having Ole as his manager, I think is amazing, because we know what a deadly finisher Ole was. Obviously we hope he's taken a page out of Rashford's book. You know, Rashford's been not just a great player on field since coming in, also at an early age of 18, and he's proven it. He's kept it consistent for the last 3 years. Rashford's been a good player, but he's also doing the right things off the field, and I think that's so key for young footballers of the day. Is they can go and get lost in partying and doing all the wrong things, and it can affect their career. Whereas you got someone like Rashford off the field who's looking to do the right things. He's looking at he's helping feed the kids, and he's just doing all the right things, which is gonna just set him up for his career. And I mean, yeah, he just needs to have that influence to keep him on the right track, and not, like I say, not go off that boil of getting partying and
is something else.
yeah, man, yeah.
That's the
We Yeah, we've all had players do it. I mean, someone like Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish was such a talent, man. He was one of the best midfielders, and he had such a future. But again, he went off the boil, partying, smoking, all sorts, and it just, yeah,
Yeah,
just
it's sad.
you
It's
can't
sad.
you can't. It's, I mean, that's normal love stuff, but you just can't do that stuff if you want to be a professional baller. It's just one of those
Especially when
things.
you're
So
coming in as a kid, like 18, 19, that's what we used to do, you know? So now you can't
yeah,
be doing that. You got to focus because 5 years time you might be playing for England or France or whatever, you know? And
yeah,
I think
definitely.
that's the difference between the generations that make it out. Like, you know, from 18 to 23 is probably the toughest time, like your 28 to 33s. You know what I mean? In a footballing career. Because you can maintain it in between because you know yourself,
Yeah,
you're just going to improve. But it really is tough time. I wish that kid all the best, man. For England and for Manchester prospect, he's phenomenal. Like, you know, along with Saka, you know,
yeah. Saka's good, man.
like you got some really good guys coming out of the academy, even with like Liverpool's academy, Chelsea's academy, your academy.
Yeah,
Like it's looking promising for England as a whole, you know, because they got
definitely.
now a lot of more people to pick. It's not just Southampton, West Ham, you know, where the
Mm,
kids are coming from anymore.
mm,
So
mm.
yeah, man. On to the last question, then we can get into some good bantering stuff here between our teams. But you guys, we're closing into the new season, and obviously you're happy about the previous season. But what do you think you guys need in order to now obviously compete for trophies? You are in top four, but maybe regain top four. You're going to be in Champions League just to leave a mark next season better. Because
Yeah.
what I was going to say, I think with Ole, you're seeing the progress you want to, and that I think maybe you're lack to see with other managers. I'm not too
Mhm.
sure how you feel, but going into this season, he's made the progress. He's shown you guys stuff. What do you guys want to see? And also maybe touch on some transfers you like to have in at United this for the coming season.
Yeah. So I think that obviously any season you want transfers, no matter what club you are. I mean, Liverpool have just run away with the league by whatever 20 points or whatever it was. They still want to strengthen. They still want to get players. You know, City won the league a few years back with 100 odd points. They still bought players. So we all want players. We all want to strengthen. I think Ole is doing the right thing in the transfer windows. Um, I think where United need to strengthen definitely is we need a right winger. So someone like Sancho would have been ideal. It looks like that deal's kind of off the cards at the minute. It's just too pricey, it seems, unfortunately. But someone like him coming on the right wing would make a massive difference to the team. It would allow Greenwood, as I say, a bit of time not to have that full pressure on him, but also he can then sub in for Marshall up front. He can sub in for Sancho on the right wing. It just gives us more attacking options. You know, like I say, when a game's tight and nothing's happening, you need to have those type of players you can bring off the bench to make a difference. So I think ideally we need to buy a right winger. I still think we will get somebody in before the season's over. I'm sorry, before the transfer window's over. It just needs to happen. Um, it looks like we're going to get Donny van Beek from Ajax. That deal looks like it'll be sewed up this week. So that's going to be a pretty good signing for around about 40 million euros. Again, it just gives us that extra stability in midfield. It's not somewhere where I think we need to really strengthen. I mean, you've mentioned it already: Fred, McTominay, Matic, Pogba, Bruno. We we are pretty spoiled for choice there. I think another place we need to really strengthen is that partner next to Maguire. For me, that's massively important. Is I just don't think Lindelof's good enough. I think he's too similar to Maguire, whereas you need the one guy who's your man marker, who's your guy going in, and then you need the level-headed guy who's at the back sweeping up talking to the guys. You need to have that, and I think they're too similar. So I'd like him to get a partner. I don't know who's available. Centre backs are hard to find lately, as you know.
A lot if you want, huh? Yeah,
You're getting one. You're going to get one this week.
You got Mustafi, you got all this. I'm safe, bro.
Yeah, Mustafi sounds good. uh, and lastly, I think we need a left back. I just think, I mean, Luke Shaw got injured now in during these games. He missed the whole of the Europa. He got injured. He's just standard Shaw to get injured.
Good players this season as well on that side. He actually had a good
Yeah, but he's always injured. So I think that's going to be keys, the transfers we make. And secondly, I was going to chat on injuries. I know it's not something you can avoid, but I think if you can keep your players fit and you can keep them not overran, they can probably avoid a couple of injuries, a couple of muscular injuries and that. So I think it's key to manage your players just so they don't get too run down. So I think yeah. But I do think to get into the top four is going to be difficult this season. I mean, obviously, City and Chelsea, City and Liverpool are the two teams, obviously, again, who are going to set the benchmark. Chelsea's done phenomenal signings. I mean, they're getting 5 pretty classy players. Arsenal have obviously ended the season really strong, looked good in the FA Cup, looked good again yesterday against Liverpool. And again, yesterday, you guys looked good against a full-strength Liverpool, basically. They were only missing Trent, but you never had Ceballos playing. You never had, Lacazette wasn't there. You're still going to get that Gabriel from Lille in. He's going to come this week. Yeah, no, I think it's been reported. Yeah, it's pretty much done. So I think you guys are going to definitely be contending again this season. Spurs, you can never write Spurs off purely because of Mourinho. I mean, few seasons ago, he got us to second somehow. So you can never rule him out. So it's going to be such a good season. I think we're going to be pretty spoiled this year.
Yeah, even with Leicester, I really enjoyed the season was Wolves.
Wolves. Yeah.
Apart from maybe Klopp being manager of the season, that guy needs some recognition, because he really did something special with that team,
Yeah.
And I hope he retains all his players because he can fight again, I think the smaller teams kind of got hurt by the no fans, because if you went to Wolves, it was hard to win there, with the we were lucky we caught them at the COVID time, so we won there. About. But yeah, you're right about the injuries thing, man. Like I've noticed that big thing with Arteta. He manages the players quite well, that they're not getting as frequently injured in training and stuff. It's mostly game injuries, which are manageable. You can manage that. But when you get these type of overexertion training injuries, that's when it becomes quite serious. Because as you know, I'm sure you guys were plagued with injuries this season. So yeah. But I have a little banter question now, just something fun. So your worst rival. Let's put it that way. Won the league, all right. I know it was. And then your previous worst rival wins the league against City, okay? So do you think it was better when Arsenal were winning the league?
No,
the champions.
No, it was definitely easier when you guys were winning the league. I mean, obviously growing up, it was an era of Ferguson versus Wenger, Arsenal versus United. I mean, we were English football for most of the Premier League era, in the early days, and yeah, definitely more manageable. City, I don't mind City too much. I know it's a Manchester rivalry, but we know that it's oil money. We know that side. I mean, in 2008. 12 years ago, they were playing in the division below, so nobody really worries about them.
I saw a meme. It had City's old badge from like 1930, and they had a new badge, and they're like, "Why are they comparing us to all these teams?" And the guys like, then they put the years of it, like 2019 and like 1938, and we're like, "You guys don't even know your team,
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
And then
but yeah, Liverpool winning the league is hurt, man. When COVID came, I was like a bit relieved. I thought they weren't going to finish the league, to be honest. But then when they said football's back, and I was like, obviously happy football's back, but we just knew the day was coming when Liverpool were going to lift the league. So
indirectly now, look, we all three, Liverpool, United, and Arsenal, are the pretty much the three biggest teams in England. You know, we're not as close to the titles that you have in English Premier League. But do you think now the race is on between you and Liverpool? Because if they win it again, you're squared up now. It's 2020.
Yeah.
So you think now a fire's lit under United, and now the fire's gonna keep burning under Liverpool? Because I remember when you all equaled the record, and I remember when you went one. That was like FIFA.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like 2010 World Cup here in South Africa.
Yeah.
Everyone was like that. So
Yeah.
what do you think are the repercussions now that Liverpool has taken the lead on your team? Obviously, on everyone else we know, but in English Premier League, it's all talk, and you guys are quite the history behind your rivalry is interesting as well, and the situation. But yeah, just let us know what does it mean for you guys now?
Yeah. It's obviously we knew we had that two title buffer, and like you say, it's down to one now, one more and they equal it, and we just can't have it. It's just we always knew we had one. We can allow one maybe, but now the next win between Liverpool or United has to be United. Otherwise they could go ahead of us. So I think it's like you've got to hope that inside the club the players realize that we need to really step it up now. There's been enough money invested in the squad. A lot of these players have played together now for a couple of years, if not more than that. Ole knows the history of the club. He knows how important it is. We've just got to hope we kick on from here now. And, to be fair, even if it's not us who win the league, hopefully maybe you or maybe City can do us a favor. I hate to say it, but obviously you know how it is. I mean, we've got most of my best friends are Liverpool fans, and since they've won it, yeah, they've made it.
Because all my friends are Liverpool
Yeah.
and every other team. I remember watching the games with you. It's just me and every United person. If Arsenal scores, they look at me like, "What's
You
wrong?"
just got to be quiet. Yeah.
You
No,
think
you.
it's a scary team. Do you think they
Yeah. Yeah.
take the record from you guys, like
Yeah.
more than any other era?
Yeah. You know what? Like, jokes aside and rivalry aside, they've been phenomenal. The last two seasons, I heard this stat during your game yesterday. Liverpool picked up 196 points in the last two seasons. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, they've been consistent. Klopp's come in. He's changed them up. He's as you said earlier, again, he's just brought in the right signings that have been so impactful. Someone like Robertson, I mean, who would have thought he's now probably one of the best left backs in Europe? I mean, Van Dijk, we knew his quality, but again, Klopp made it happen, and now he's the best centre back in the world. Their front three are just deadly. I mean, they've just they just been good. We got to just give it to them. They obviously deserve it. They've played phenomenal football over the last 2 years. They've been the team to beat, and I think again this season they're going to be the team to beat again. City have spent money and they've done good things, but I just think Klopp's got the right mentality for the players, and they just believe in him so much, and that's
And you know
that's
what?
what it's about.
It's also what he does as a manager, as well. Not like the tactics, not his signings, his human side of him. He's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
he's a cool
yeah,
guy too, like the way he talks and like he goes to the fans and he does certain things. And I think for Liverpool, it was needed, like how you guys needed Ole or maybe Chelsea needed Lampard, who City needs a coach every 3 years. So it's like it's those kind of things. I think the the big thing for our teams is the connection between the fans and the club. And I think when
yeah,
it's connected, it's a really impacting part of our growth. We can't progress much. You saw that with Arsenal. Our fans were toxic at one stage. It was the
yeah,
group
man.
was really bad. And it wasn't a good time for the club's history. Like I want to forget about that time because it's not nice. The play wasn't good. The players weren't nice. The board, the club, everything just was not nice together. And then Arteta comes in and changes a bit of things and gives us a bit of hope again. And I see the same with Ole, like reuniting the fans back with United. I see it with Liverpool, and it's really big things. And it's nice to see, man. Like I remember what's that Liverpool City game in the semi-finals of the Champions League when they didn't win the finals, when they went to Real Madrid. Bro, those ones were playing ball, man. Like you don't want to like clap for Liverpool. We don't tell anyone we watched the game, but deep down, I know that was probably my
Yeah,
favorite game for the season because
yeah,
they really showed some prospects. But from you from your side as a Manchester fan, you can't be talking like this. Uh,
Yeah.
but it's nice though. I think the competition's alive in our league. I think it's not how you were saying in the early days when we were watching. It was just United, Arsenal, maybe Chelsea here or there, Liverpool here or there. But now we're having the more competition, and it's nice.
Yeah.
Top six is hard now. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
eight, man. We finished eighth.
Yeah.
But
I think, yeah, I think definitely this season though, I think like for an Arsenal side, I think there's a lot of positives. Number one, obviously the way you've ended the season, the players you've brought in have fitted in well. I mean, Ceballos is, I mean, he's really impressed me, man. I didn't expect much when he came in, but he's been really impressive. Obviously, Aubameyang, we don't need to talk. We know his quality. Obviously important for you guys to get him signed up and that. But it's like you've now got a manager that you can feel confident in. And I think last season, at the start of the season, you started the season with Emery, if I'm not mistaken, but there wasn't a lot of faith in him and there wasn't a lot of confidence in him, and it showed in the performances. We started with Ole. We weren't sure where we were with Ole because we ended the previous season a bit shaky, and there was talk of him maybe going. There was talk of Pochettino, so we already knew Pochettino was out of favor in Spurs. So last season started with Pochettino, Ole, Emery, very shaky. Uh, Obviously, nobody knew what to expect with Lampard coming into Chelsea. So it started the season off. We already knew Liverpool and City were going to run away with it because they had those set managers. Whereas I think what makes this season difference, we all got set managers now. Spurs know that they're backing Mourinho. We know we're backing Ole. You guys are backing Arteta. It's like all six teams, the big six, are going into the season with set managers, confidence in their managers, and I think it's going to be a good season, man.
These teams could challenge City and Liverpool more. Do you think now with a more settled manager, or do you think it's just like, yeah, we can see?
We'll be closer. Yeah.
As you said, I think it's really important to have a season of English Premier League as a manager under your belt, because with Emery, his first season was good. He didn't go undefeated, what. But closing the season wasn't good. He didn't end up. And the Premier League is all about starting. Obviously, your middle part, December into Jan, is very difficult. But your back end, your March, April, May, that's where you need to tally up. And Wenger used to do that well, and a lot of other managers do that well. They came up with this kid. He didn't do that well for me. And we were like, look, he doesn't understand Premier League. It's his first time, stuff like that. So I think it's like you could see the same with Brendan Rodgers, man. Like this season, he had such a good first half, and in the last 10 games to close the season off, he didn't actually manage to do it, and it's quite disappointing because that's what you need. And and as you said, having one season under both, half a season for Arteta, but I think working close with Pep was really great in the sense that he's been with 3 seasons there, like a full season. It's not like he was in Paris and he was 3 seasons there. He understands English. He played just.
He played there,
Yeah, so one season, like first season, actually achieving what he wants to achieve. I hope so, And Lampard, I don't know what to say. The other thing I was going to say, it's weird for us now because Ole, Lampard, Arteta, who else? Even Pirlo. All guys we used to watch, man. We used to be like, yo, we probably would have bought their shirts and stuff. Like, my favorite player is this dude. Now they're legends of United, it's Ole. Legends of Chelsea, it's Lampard. Or Italy Giants, it's Pirlo. Zidane. All these greats. And like football coaches, man. Like, actually, like, blow to blow with, like, great football coaches that weren't great players. Do you know what I mean? Like Pep Guardiola and stuff like that. They were okay players, but like, look at Zidane. He was a great player, and now he might just end up being a great coach. Lampard, great Chelsea player, might end up same with Ole. So it's a really different time we live in. I think we never would have ever thought. I don't know if you would have ever thought you would have saw Ole coaching.
Never.
Or even think like Sir Alex Ferguson is leaving. Like, did Wenger just leave? So it's really nice times in Premier League. Before we wrap, I want to thank you once again, Antonio, for coming on here talking about your team all the way from where in England are you? Sorry, you can just mention that.
So I'm closer to London. I'm just outside London. So I'm not from Emirates Stadium. I think it's like 40 minutes, and I'm at Emirates, so it's not too bad.
So is everything read by you? Or is it still like what color is it there? I'm just joking.
To be fair, where I live is mainly Spurs. To be honest, it's mainly Spurs.
Okay.
So yeah.
I
But
feel like the Spurs where they did that billboard for Chelsea.
no,
Oh, okay. Did you see that
no, no,
billboard?
no,
Like, where's your
no.
enemy to Chelsea? And they got
Oh no.
and they got Mourinho in a Tottenham jersey there. It's like a billboard. I think it's
No, no.
Amazon's releasing some movie for Mourinho or Tottenham.
Yeah, it's Amazon Prime. I think it gets released tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it should be good.
I think the advertisement was that, and then Chelsea was
Oh, okay.
so. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
So people joining in all the way from London. But I have one last request, man. So I know you told us what it's like, but maybe you can tell us as South African fans, what's the first thing you should do? And when you come into London as a football fan, what would you recommend? Because you've done it. I don't really know anyone else that can give me good insight. But yeah, if you don't mind, just a quick one. What would you rate things like you should do as a football fan coming to England?
What, like where to go or how to get to games or
I suppose anything, man. I suppose, okay, let's
yeah.
talk about Arsenal or United. Let's say if I'm Arsenal, what would you suggest for me to do when I come up there?
Yeah. So I think important, hopefully if you're coming up, hopefully you know someone who can get you tickets at a good price. I think that's so important is because people here are trying to sell tickets off for like 5, 6 times the price of a ticket. And then it just prices a lot of people out. So I know from myself personally, if anybody ever wants to reach out and come over, come through you, speak to me, I'll always try to help people out, man. I've arranged a lot of tickets for people coming over from South Africa, pretty much any stadium. It's difficult for Liverpool. I can't get tickets there because, there's such a demand there. But like I've arranged people to go to Emirates. I've arranged people to go to Old Trafford, Stamford Bridge. So, you know, get somebody to help you get tickets at a good price, just so you can enjoy it and you're not putting yourself out. Secondly, try and make sure you do a stadium tour of whichever club you support. I mean, I've done, as I told you before, I've done the Emirates Stadium tour. It's phenomenal. Obviously, great stadium, beautiful museum. Definitely worth doing it, and it's quite cheap, to be honest. It's really worth doing. Go visit the stores at the grounds. They're all beautiful, man. There's the merchandise. It's the size of it, everything like that, And if you are down for a game, try and see if you can get another game in. Even if it's a rival team or another club, just try to get a game in because every stadium is so different. I mean, I
Mm.
think I've spoken to you before, Kishan, but like Emirates and Stamford Bridge are so different. And then you'll get like Spurs Stadium is so different, and Old Trafford is so different. It's just such a nice culture, man. It's such a good culture. So those things are important. And like I say, as well, before the game, try and find a fan-friendly bar that you can go into where you have to show your ticket. You have to be a home fan, go in the bar and just enjoy that atmosphere. Take that atmosphere in, man. It really makes the experience.
Okay, no, thank you, Tony. That's I think that will inspire any of us to go across, and we'll definitely let you know if we need to
Yeah,
go.
definitely, man.
He's a
Definitely.
Milan dealer from old days, but it's fine.
you
Last thing
you know.
before we end off this really great interview, and I'm really happy I had you on. Was just what was your most memorable you could talk about your most memorable feeling at Arsenal at the Emirates and at Old Trafford before you go off because you've been to both stadiums and also what you love about my team. And after that, I'll talk about United.
um okay, so I've been to Emirates. I've been there quite surprisingly quite a few times. As I say, I live quite close there. I mean, it's a 40-minute train. I'm there. I've got quite a few friends here who support Arsenal. Actually, one of my best friends here supports Arsenal. So, and he's a member there. So I would go with him quite often when he had 2 tickets. Um, Most memorable moment, I have to say, unfortunately, at the Emirates, I went in January when you played United. I was in the away end. I was sitting with my fans in the away end, and you guys
Day
killed
match.
us, man. What's
The
that?
New Year's Day match. Was it the New Year's Day? The New Year's Day.
Yeah. Exactly. It was New Year's Day. It was cold. It was like -2, -3. I got down to the Emirates. And yeah, you guys gave us a footballing lesson. So that's definitely a memory that I won't forget from the Emirates. We were in such a good form at that time, man.
Yeah, so what was it like with the Arsenal fans? Were they just gone crazy inside there? Was
Yeah, 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 yeah,
wow.
yeah. So of course, in 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 the away end at the Emirates, you're sitting low down, and above you, the stands above you have got Arsenal fans in, and when you guys score, you silence around you, but you just hear the noise come from above you, and you just look back, and you've got all Arsenal fans just like giving a big to you. Like, yeah, you can imagine it's just chaos, and you just got to stand there and suck it up. It's honestly, that was definitely that was the last game I actually went at the Emirates. So yeah, yeah, man. Uh, I was bleak. I won't lie, I was very bleak, man.
Yeah, I know you are. Us
Yeah.
both the same. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've watched some good games there. I went to one of your Europa games. I think it was one of the Russian teams you played, and you won like 4 or 5-1. Ozil had a good game that night. He scored one. He scored a good free kick.
Oh no, no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But so I've seen a good few performances like
Wow.
from you guys going there as a neutral fan. So yeah, no, I've enjoyed it there. At Old Trafford, I've had some really lucky experiences there. I think obviously this last season we played Juventus in the Champions League. So, or sorry, the season before. I forget about Corona, but the season before we played Juventus in the group. So I got to see Cristiano Ronaldo quite close to me. We played Messi that year as well because we played Barcelona in I think it was the quarters. So I got
Yeah.
to see Messi.
Not that
So
PSG, Juventus, Barcelona.
PSG, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I got to see like Neymar, Mbappe. So I mean, all in one season, that was like a treat, man. That's like seeing,
At
yeah,
home,
some of the best
at
players.
home, killing at home.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
relax.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And I think some of the other very good memories I've got from there is like I got to meet like Ryan Giggs, Rio Ferdinand, got to meet them all. Um,
Now you have to
David
say
De Gea,
who you met.
I
You
met,
know,
met. I got photos with them. I met them properly. Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
no, I know you met them. I meant the other guy for you met Cantona.
Oh, Cantona. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I met Eric Cantona, but that was in London. That wasn't at Old Trafford, but yeah, I met him. I met him in
And you
London.
must
Got to
drop
meet
that
him.
in anyway, as a United fan to meet that guy, yo,
Yeah, man.
hitting Henry or
Yeah,
Bergkamp, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, yo,
yeah.
sorry,
No, it's
Stan.
crazy, man.
You said De Gea, who else?
Uh, just like a handful of the team now that we got playing with now. Like,
And while you're at the matches, just to give people context, you see people, you see the team getting off the bus, you see
yeah,
them walking to the stadium,
yeah,
in their cool suits with their earphones on,
yeah,
and
yeah,
walking like so cool.
yeah,
You know, you
yeah.
see, if you see that on TV and it's United, you're probably in the side there.
Yeah, well, to be fair, not so often anymore. That was more like at the start when I was going, like a novelty kind of thing, because you wait quite long and it's quite cold, and you'd
Oh,
rather be in the bar having a few beers and so.
like you catch them on the pitch, don't worry.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
suppose
yeah. No,
once you
exactly.
see it, like the first few times, it loses the kind of, like excitement, and now you just
Mm,
ready for the game. Okay, no, cool,
yeah,
man.
it's still good. I mean, when you get a friend come over, then they want to do it, so you do it again, and you do it. So you do it quite a few times throughout the season.
Now,
So
for
it's all
me,
right, man.
all of those things that you're talking about, I always see on TV. To know that you, a person that I know, was there, like watching it. That's
Yeah,
amazing. It also makes us realize that it's possible. You know what I mean? It's a reality
yeah,
that
man.
you can see all of these. But when you go there, as you said, we love football, but we understand the English way, but we don't. We don't know why they're so passionate at sometimes and rage and want to fight with each other. And it makes sense because like they go to the bar, they get themselves amped up. You know what I mean? They're ready for the game. They're like, it's
Yeah,
cool. So and I love that. And I feel like it's here in South Africa. It's big, but we don't have that kind of like getting each other amped, like you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
but we
yeah,
do with friends, I suppose. But now I've seen a lot of us are singing chants in bars, and so it gets quite cool. So
mm,
hopefully, as the more we see from your fan series and from your fan guys there, the more we realize that's who we're trying to be, not trying to be, but you know what I mean, trying to follow because they
yeah,
sing, they chant, they do all of this stuff, and at the end of the day, we want to sing what they sing. If it's a Obama Young song or it's a Greenwood song, you want to sing it. And sometimes you don't hear it too well over the TV. That's when
yeah,
you hear it when the fans are walking. You know, like I always try to look for those clips now that you told me. I look for fans walking into the stadium, and then I look
Yeah,
at it,
yeah, yeah,
all of them, and you're like, this is really inspirational stuff,
yeah,
man.
yeah. No, that's what it's about, man. Like I said to you, United's not been good over the years, so it's been tough. The 90-minute football has been unpleasant, man. But it's the pre-game and it's the after the game that makes it. After the game, you go back in the pub and you see the same guys. You're not sitting next to them.
Of indoor. I'll always lose when I used to come there. I will always lose, but it doesn't matter. We still come every week.
Yeah, exactly,
You
man.
got the mates, you know. We have like that united family, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How would they welcome you as a South African fan? Were they shocked that you were so knowledgeable or that you had such passion for the team coming from like Africa? No offense
Yeah.
to English people, not saying, but you know.
Yeah, no, I think most of the people have been, very welcoming. I mean, I think if anything, it gives you a bit of an advantage because people are always intrigued when they hear your accents at the game. They're always like, "Oh, where you from? Are you here just for the game? Da da da. What do you know about football?" And then they do, like you say, they get surprised about how passionate you can be. Because when you're watching the game and they seeing you go crazy, they're like, "This guy proper gets it," And it's like, again, I go back to the point that South Africans are just as passionate, if not maybe even just that little bit more than what the guys over here, man. We love our football back home, and that's something that people coming across here will enjoy because that sort of fighting culture that you used to see at football, and that there's no such thing, man. Everybody goes, everybody's just happy, everybody just wants a good day out. A lot of people are bringing their small kids with them.
I love when they celebrate. They just like you. It's like when I watch the
Man,
football
it's
celebration, like they're hanging over each other,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and stuff like that.
yeah. No, it's cool, man. When you celebrate.
GoonerFam, I'm sorry, my video cut there, but I'm back. We're just gonna wrap it up here with Antonio all the way from London. He was telling us about what it's like as a football fan in England, and obviously talking to us about the Manchester United season review. But yeah, last words, Tony, before we wrap up. I want to say thank you for an amazing review. I'm really grateful to have you on the show all the way from England and doing whatever you're doing. It's really great. And yeah, you must keep a ticket available for me from there. But yeah, any last words or anything you want to wish our South African fans or anything like that? Or maybe from a United, maybe Ole might yo. Like African season ticket holder. Wow, I didn't know that.
No, man, I just want to say big thank you for letting me come on. As you know, I follow the channel, obviously supporting you and always enjoyed Arsenal football, man. I mean, you guys have always put on a show when you play. So no, just keep up the work with the channel. It's really impressive, and I think it's going to grow massively again in the next season. So, and yeah, good luck for your season, man. I think you guys are doing good things. Obviously, we've seen that now in the FA Cup and yesterday. I mean, yesterday you guys outplayed a really strong and fit Liverpool side. So I think there's big things to come from you guys. But no, thanks again and keep up the work, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm happy to hear that because, hey, it's been a tough time as an Arsenal fan, and you've been with me through my toughest time. In the 10-year period, you were there, laughing at me every time. But, it's nice. I suppose I can just hope, and, we needed this kind of like progressions to go forward. And on your team, you are still, I feel, our number one rivals. Nobody else actually competes. Tottenham, no one. And I always enjoy a United game because, like 3 seasons ago, we were crap. Both of us were crap, but we both turn up for the games. That's
Yeah,
what I
man.
love about a United Arsenal game. We just turn up, no matter how shitty our players. I remember Lingard was like had such a bad season and he
Yeah,
scores
man.
like 2 goals.
Wow.
That's like a little dance and that's like amazing. So I always like that kind of battle and I always read the chats like Neville used to talk about Vieira and Henry would talk
Yeah, man.
about this person and stuff like that. And we've had that kind of banter going on for years. It's just I suppose we're more respectful rivals than other guys that
Yeah.
kind of just talk too much. We just get the job done in the field. But you know what? It's always an entertaining match. And one day I hope to join you at an Old Trafford game. Hope my fans on the channel won't mind that. But hopefully we're playing Arsenal. I'd
Yeah.
love to view England and to say and to view whatever you've been seeing. And for our fans, if you're ever in England, do what Antonio said. check the stadium out, check the stadium tours. If you want cheap tickets, speak to GoonerCast SA. This is
There we go.
Rival Reviews. We have Antonio all the way from London. He said North London is red, so we believe him. He knows, he doesn't want to say it there, but it's fine. Antonio, thank you once again. Our big, huge Red Devils fan, probably the biggest I know. Antonio, just before we go, what's the first shirt that you've had? Which one was it?
First shirt, it was a sharp shirt with this, yeah, with the it had Old Trafford faded in the background of the shirt,
Yeah, I know
and of
that
course
one.
yeah,
It's an
of
awful
course
one. They will always tuck it in, and then
yeah,
they
but
run over.
because it was so big.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
people
I
don't
had
know what a sharp is. They think it's still a cigarette here in South Africa.
yeah.
So that's how long Antonio's been a fan, and it's only fitting we have these reviews with fans like these. And the best part is he's South African, just like us, and now he's up there in England watching the game, just like all of us, and sharing his experiences and his moments of just loving football. And that's what it's about, and that's why we're here. Antonio, thanks again, all the way from
Thank you.
England. It's GoonerCast SA. We are.
Thank you.